How do you make money for nothing? The answer could be hiding in the 20 million tonnes of household waste we throw out every year.
Just before you throw it away, would it be possible to have a quick look at it?
That's why entrepreneur Sarah Moore wants to get her hands on things before they hit the skip.
I am a passionate buyer, user and renovator of second-hand stuff, and I've turned that passion into a money-making business. I turn old into new and I sell it for a profit.
Sarah's ready to sift through as many boots and bin bags as she needs to.
That's vintage gold, isn't it? It's really exciting.
In her search for tip treasure.
I love it.
And with some of the country's elite designers and makers,
What are we going to do with that?
Oh no!
she can transform her finds into desirable,
Amazing.
beautiful, valuable,
Cha-ching.
and hopefully saleable items.
That's £80 profit.
If Sarah is successful, then she can hand the profits back to the very people who had no idea there was cash to be made from their trash.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's unbelievable.
Today we're at the Whitley Recycling Centre near Guilford, where 800 tonnes of waste is dumped by Surrey locals every month.
It's so exciting. People are flooding in here all day long, and I'm going to turn their old into gold, their trash into cash, and make some money for nothing.
Remember that Sarah has special permission to rummage about today, so don't go pestering people at your local recycle centre or you'll be the one getting thrown out.
What are you clearing out? What's going on today?
Sarah's combing through cars looking for 3 unwanted items to turn into cash for whoever's dumping them.
I'm loving the look.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
It's my smart look.
Flattery will get you everywhere, Sarah. At the far side of the centre, Philip may be about to dump just what Sarah's been looking for.
That's vintage gold, isn't it? Any chance I could have a word with you about your sewing machine?
Of course.
Are you throwing everything?
Everything must go.
Wow, so how long have you had this?
I don't know. I think it's been probably around for about 40, 50 years.
Right, yeah, it
I
looks
recall.
about that age, doesn't it? Sorry.
It's heavy.
That's right. Heavy's great. It hasn't got the sewing machine in it as well.
Probably.
It has. It has.
Do you actually want it?
I really want it, yes.
There's such a lot of things to dispose of today.
The sewing machine is more than enough for now, Philip. But what do you think Sarah will do with it?
Hopefully, if she's a good girl, she'll learn to sew on it.
Careful, Phil, that attitude's about as out of date as the sewing machine.
It is absolutely beyond use, but it's these legs and this lovely flywheel and all the bits down here that I think are where the money is. But everybody has made tables out of these things, so I've got to find something to make out of it that is really original and inspired. And at the moment, I'm lacking the inspiration. I'm hoping, with a little thought, this could be something fantastic and actually quite valuable.
So that's the first item all sewn up. Sarah may not be sure how to transform it into a moneymaker, but she knows a man who could. Rupert Blanchard is one of the country's leading reclamation and bespoke furniture makers. He's used to turning Sarah's foraged furniture into something saleable.
I'm really looking forward to Sarah coming and see what she's managed to discover. I hope it's something that I'm familiar with and I can identify its history, but I want to add something to it, so I want to completely destroy it and turn it into something brand new, but retain somewhat of its past story, its past history, its past relationship with someone, and really build a new relationship with it now, make something brand new, and start making new stories.
Rupert does love working with unloved items, but Sarah could be stitching him up with this one. So, Sarah's saved her first item from the skip, but she has 2 more to find. And another piece of classic manufacturing has just pulled up.
I absolutely love it. How long have you had it?
I've had it about 5 years.
Well, it's lovely to see it being used.
The car's not up for grabs, Sarah. Get a move on and find your next item. Ah, wait, Emma might have just the thing. Go on, have a sneaky peek while she's away.
Wow, I wonder if I'm going to be able to have that. Look at that. I think it's made of metal, and that makes it really easy to use, so I'll just see if I can get hold of that. Hold on. Hi there. I'm looking for things that I might be able to recycle or make into something else.
Okay.
And I was wondering if it might be, you might share this or let me have it.
You can have it. No, you're welcome to
Really?
take it.
Oh, it's quite heavy, isn't it?
It's not that bad.
I know, actually, in the scale of baths. No, I thought
it was going to be heavier.
Well spotted, Sarah. Spending most days at the dump, you're due a bath.
that's brilliant. I love the shape of it.
Exciting.
Well, thank you ever so much for letting us take it away.
No worries,
That's
have
great.
fun.
Thank you.
Sarah clearly sees potential with Emma's bath, but what on earth could she make from it?
I'm thinking she's going to make some kind of weird 60s seats or something.
I love this bath. It's made of tin. I'm going to be able to cut it up and make something fabulous out of it. And I reckon if I made 2 armchairs, I could make 500 quid out of this.
Emma's guess wasn't too far off. So, with Sarah's second item in line for a radical redesign, she'll have to call in the services of a designer who loves heavy metal. Beck Simon is one of the country's best artist blacksmiths, creating high-end interior furniture and bespoke metalwork commissions. Beck's is normally specially commissioned for unique pieces of artwork and has no idea what's coming her way.
Working with found objects is quite different from what we normally do, because we work with our clients and we produce designs and we work with them. So this is kind of like really freeing up the mind and seeing, you know, what object we've got and how we can make it work into something really cool, modern and yeah, desirable. So it's going to be fun.
It would seem bath chairs are the obvious choice. So how will Beck's make them stand out? Sarah's successfully found 2 items for designers Rupert and Beck's. Now she needs to find a third she can apply her own skills to. And with the day getting on, she may not get to be so choosy.
Oh, hang on a minute. There's that.
A plastic plant pot. I think we'll keep on looking. But as luck would have it, Elizabeth may have just saved the day with her box of old taps.
My husband, when he did the central heating years and years ago,
Yeah.
couldn't bear to ever throw anything away.
Oh, I'm like him. I can understand. I can understand
And so
that.
I'm gradually getting rid of them because they're no use to me. But if they're, I was going to put them in the recycling.
Well,
but
do you know something? I'm looking for things that I might be able to add to projects or make something out of.
right.
And yeah, these are just what I'm after. Something really chunky and old, and you know they've got that classic look.
God. That would be really nice. Yes, I'm just only too pleased for them to be reused.
Thank you so much.
When we moved into our house many years ago, and my husband had old pipes, couldn't throw them away, of course, and redid it, and they've just been in the garage ever since.
Look at that absolute box of joy. These are just fantastic. They're not perfect. They're in a bit of a state, but I have to be able to make something brilliant out of these, don't you think?
Okay, bye-bye.
It was great meeting that lady, and it was really sweet that she let me have those taps and things, and I just hope I can do them justice and make something lovely out of them.
Sarah's 3-item search is complete. Philip's sewing machine will be going to Rupert, Beck's will work on Emma's old bath, and Sarah will be hoping to create a cash flow from Elizabeth's taps.
It's been a fantastic day here today, and I've met some great people. But I've also been making some really big promises about what I'm going to do with their rubbish. And I think I might have my work cut out.
Sarah's first stop is the seaside resort of Margate. For over 200 years, the town has been a popular holiday destination for Londoners. But with the recent opening of the Turner Contemporary, a cultural renaissance has been happening here. and designer Rupert Blanchard is at the heart of it. He's looking forward to another special delivery from Sarah.
I did hear from Sarah that she's going to bring me something that she thinks is going to really challenge me this time. I'm not so sure. She's not seen some of the rubbish I've actually worked with, so I'm happy for her to bring it on.
Rupert, I have got something I need a hand to bring in.
Okay.
It's heavy.
Is it an elephant?
No, it's definitely not. Well, it might be the elephant in the room, but come and have a look at it.
Okay.
Oops.
Watch your toes.
That's fab.
There you go.
Let me pop that up there. I think it still opens up.
Still working.
Just about. Is it beyond repair? Is it beyond use?
Nothing's beyond use, nothing's beyond repair, is it? It's all, we can do something with it.
I was wondering if maybe we could use it as some kind of flip-up thing where somebody's got a screen, either their laptop in there or it's the TV screen or something like that.
So it's a possible home office-y thing.
Perfect.
I think you're saving it just about the right point before it does crumble. The sewing machine itself and the mechanism still work, so maybe you'll turn a handle and your screen comes up. Maybe you do something and it actually appears. There's definitely a lot to play with.
What do you think?
That is a challenge. I think this one might take a couple more cups of tea.
Or perhaps something stronger.
Well, you can't hurry creativity, can you? But I've got every faith in Rupert's designs, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he comes up with.
I really want to do something new with this. Something quite exciting, and maybe I need to think about its original use and how to push it further into the modern world.
So, because Rupert has absolutely no idea what he's going to do, we can't estimate the cost for this job. Let's check up on him later when he's had a chance to think. So, while we leave Rupert to put the kettle on, we travel further inland to the Surrey countryside. We're waiting for Sarah as scrap scavengers Bex and husband Dave. Sarah thinks a bath is just what these two need.
It's a bath.
Don't take it personally.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's tin, it's not one of the cast iron ones, so
Yeah.
it's not too heavy, but it's metal,
Yeah.
so I thought of you.
And obviously how dirty we are. We need a bath.
Tin baths are a cheaper alternative to heavy cast iron. It should make no difference to the sale price once they've turned it into... What's it being turned into?
So I was sort of wondering whether this could be a pair of armchairs. I was just wondering if we could cut in each end off to make a kind of like cool armchair.
That would probably work quite well.
What I haven't done is actually sat in it. Do you think maybe we should put it on the ground and sort of see how big, you know,
Oh,
is it
yeah.
possible to get two out of it, do you think? Pop it down.
Okay, you sit that side, I'll sit this side.
Two birds in a bath. You've got the taps end, I win.
I always end up with the taps.
OK, so my end's comfortable. How's yours?
I'm sort of quite propped up, but that's okay.
The only thing I was wondering about, just having a couple of holes in it so we could put a cushion pad on it, so maybe just in the base, a cushion pad so you don't slide out of it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
If I get out, will you shoot you across this place?
Yeah, I think, yeah, we can go for that. Definitely give it a go.
Give anything a go, Suze.
It's a clever idea to turn the bath into two separate saleable seats to double the potential profit.
Oh, it's quite cool up this end.
As long as we don't break the bank making it.
I suppose we're looking at £30 to £40 to get a cushion made if I was to make up a very simple square to go in it.
If we've got, say, 400 to 500 to do what we need to do, I reckon we could have a good go at it with that.
Fab. Well, that sounds like a great plan. Shall I leave it with you?
Okay.
Don't sound too enthusiastic, Bex. 2 bathtub armchairs. That should be easy, right?
There's quite a few unknowns as usual, aren't there?
Yeah.
How much enamel's going to stay on it, how much the shape's just going to fall apart.
But we will remain positive.
That's more like it. The armchairs should cost between £400 to £500 to make, plus a little extra for the cushions. Selling them for any more than that means Sarah's in profit. So, with Beck's about to crack on with the bath, and Rupert, well, hopefully he has some idea now of what he's going to make. It's back to the barn and time for Sarah to make some money from a pile of plumbing.
So I picked up this whole box of taps at a tip and thought, brilliant! That would be so easy to use. There's so many of them. They're really old-fashioned and charming looking. But now I've got more back home, I just don't know what to do with them.
Why don't you get them all out and maybe something will come to you?
That one's quite cool, but...
So?
Any ideas?
What's with you and Rupert today? Get those creative juices flowing.
I thought maybe I could use them to make some really smart lighting, you know, have some blue bulbs coming out of them, but really it's very complicated what's inside them. But then I'm wondering, maybe with these sort of angular bits, if I can make a towel rail, something useful for the bathroom. I think I should put them back somewhere where there is water involved, otherwise they'll just look inappropriate. And hope that there's some way of fixing them together, perhaps onto a backboard that would make a really cool place to hang a towel.
Towel rail, that'll do.
They're quite good. There's one there. Okay, so I've got two of those.
Except I didn't see a rail in that box.
And I have got this piece of copper pipe left over. It's not brilliant, but I'm thinking maybe... Yeah, it does fit.
This one's starting to come together.
If it could sort of come out of the wall on those bits.
And because it's all made from plumbing, it'll be a heated towel rail. Am I right?
Yeah, it's never going to be one of those heated... I mean, it could be if I got it plumbed in, but I think it should be decorative only because I've got no budget to spend on this and I just want it to look pretty cool and a pretty quick fix.
Cheapskate. So, while Sarah puts together her pipes, back in Margate, Rupert's had a bit of time to think about what he'll do with the old sewing machine. And we're no further forward.
This one is my biggest challenge to date. There's a lot of very easy things you could do with it, but I want to come up with something new. This is approximately 100 years old now. It's broken, the wood's delaminated, metal has rusted, corroded and snapped. Depending on what you want to do with this, you could spend hundreds, you could spend nothing. My preference is always spending nothing.
With no idea how this is going to turn out, Rupert plunges right in.
I'm going to start by taking it apart, lay out very neatly what I've got to work with, and hopefully that will help me in the design process.
First, Rupert carefully removes the original sewing machine, pulls out the drawers.
These are quite genius things, how they're put together. There's so many different components.
And finally, Rupert unscrews the wooden top from the cast iron base. Rupert subscribes to the art of knolling, which essentially means taking things to pieces, laying them out neatly, and then having a think.
So I've taken Sarah's discovery apart now into many, many components. There's a lot of beautiful little elements and lovely little design details going on. But what I do with them, I still don't know. A few more cups of tea.
More tea? I'll just go and get an ice cream while you think, shall I? The Singer Company, who manufactured the first practical sewing machine for general use, was established back in 1851. By 1900, Singer was producing 40 different sewing machine models. And by... Oh, I've had enough of this. I can't stand it. Rupert, tell me you've got something for us. Hooray! Something new. And it's a big bit of wood. Rupert, what's the plan?
I've gone through so many options trying to come up with the right one. So I think I'm trying to do some kind of table, but with something a bit extra, an extra little twist, an extra little kick to it. I'm not going to say quite what it is because I want to surprise Sarah. People are either going to love or hate this one.
Ooh, a surprise. I like a surprise. Some kind of a table with something else. Excellent. For the tabletop, Rupert's using some reclaimed wood he had lying about. And while we were away, he's also applied a spray varnish finish to the metal base to stop rusting. Rupert really wanted to make this piece unique and even reached out to social media for inspiration.
I put it on Twitter after a while of coming up with lots of different things to think what other people thought. And one of the things that was real, I did think of this before. I wanted to do like a rotisserie chicken, turn it into a barbecue, but you have a chicken on it and push the pedal to slowly turn.
If that's the kind of ideas you're considering, I can't wait to see what your secret surprise is. Back in Sussex, Sarah's one step closer to making a towel rail from the box of old taps. But she still has to source a wooden back panel that will eventually fix the rail to the wall. But luckily, Sarah's a hoarder of all things, well, of all things. And after a quick trip to the shed, she usually finds something she can work with.
I'm trying to find a backboard that I can mount the whole towel rail on. And I had this bed, in fact, a pair of beds that I have had for about 5 years, and they are completely broken. They've fallen apart. But I've always loved the wood and thought one day I might use it in a project. So that will work really well. It's really heavy. It must be mahogany or something. And it's old. I think it's French. It's a really good green colour. And that, I think, with all that copper and gold, pretty much untouched, will be perfect.
So, with the back panels scavenged from herself, it's time for Sarah to plug in those power tools. She's using an electric jigsaw to cut the old bed frame the correct length for the towel rail. Next, it's time for the power drill. She's using a flat wood drill bit, which is perfect for bigger holes.
Hopefully that's all right.
Quite an achievement for just over an hour's worth of work. But will anyone buy it? Sarah spent just £12 on extra metal fittings to attach the rail to the backboard. So she's got to make more than £12 from it, surely. Meanwhile, back at the forge, Bex and Dave are about to start the process of turning the bath from something you lie in to something you'll want to sit on.
Are we just cutting it in half?
Sarah was hoping to get 2 saleable seats out of it, one from each end. But do the team think it's a possibility?
We've never done anything with a bath before.
Apart from washed ourselves after work. And then it's pretty grubby.
It can't be worse than that. Or maybe it can. Beck starts by drawing up plans for the frame. But what can they do to make it not so bathy?
There's got to be something about the design that moves it on from being half a bath in a frame to a considered chair.
What about if we made a big frame and turned it into a swing? A bucket swing. No.
Maybe keep on thinking. Dave gets to work cutting the first seat from the plug hole end. Dave's very careful not to chip away at the enamel, which could spoil the finish. Once it's removed, he'll have a better idea of what needs to be done next. But first off, how are you going to plug off the plug hole?
Why don't we get a plug?
Genius.
Put a plug in there.
Yeah, a bit quirky.
Yeah. And get some taps.
That'd be uncomfortable. That would be like how I have a bath. Somebody else gets the comfy end. Too much information.
You said it. But you know the old saying, the couple that bathes together stays together.
Okay.
In the interest of keeping costs low, Bex and Dave are using scrap iron they had lying about, which they are bending into curves to form the base the bath will rest upon.
With this, again, because we're working to a budget, you know, we can't really order in, you know, the steel that we need. So we're just looking to see what we can use. So it's really testing your design ability. You know, you're not sort of sat down, drawing it out, you know, having a big sort of conversation with a client. You're literally, right, here it is, let's get on with it.
I can see this starting to come together. Sawing the bath in half has left a sharp edge on the seat, but Bex is hoping to keep it as is.
We'll test it out at the end with bare legs.
Your legs.
Yeah, have to shave them first.
Still too much information. Bex is welding extra support beams to the base, as the curved steel will be too soft to support some people's bottoms, while Dave is giving the bath a paint job. But it's taken a lot to get to this stage with time running out. So, instead of 2 bath seats, it looks like Sarah will just be getting 1.
We were going to build the front and the back one, but again, it's taken us longer, as per usual. So we'll probably have to give her a call and let her know what's going on.
To be honest, as long as it doesn't cost a fortune to construct, I'm sure Sarah will be happy. Back at the barn, Sarah has downed power tools and is nearing the end of her own restoration project. She's attached the rail and bits of old taps to the wooden back panel, and now is nailing more bits of broken bed to the sides for a classy finish. When Sarah found the old taps, they were headed for the skip. But now, it's a modern, funky towel rail. Sarah used matching black steam valve handles that make the piece more industrial than domestic. The extra materials Sarah used were compression joints, which form an L shape attaching the rail to the backboard. And the backboard? Well, it was an old bed, but I think it does the job nicely. All in all, a quick and effective turnaround, Sarah.
Just for a change, I have to say, that was refreshingly fun to make. It's really quite simple if you're using any of these compression joints that you can get at plumbers merchants, because they literally tighten up together and give you a really secure join. Probably not waterproof if you don't really know what you're doing, but certainly good enough for making this kind of thing. So probably all in all, it was only about an hour and a half to make, and I only spent £12 on materials. So hopefully, enough here to make some profit.
I'm sure you'll find some plumbing lover to buy it for more than £12. So go on, get it sold. Back at the dump, Sarah loved the look of Elizabeth's old box and asked if she could tinker with her taps.
That would be really nice, yes. I'm just only too pleased for them to be reused.
Sarah was smitten.
Look at that absolute box of joy. These are just fantastic.
And Elizabeth was happy to say goodbye to the old relics.
We moved into our house many, many years ago, and they've just been in the garage ever since. But brilliant if they're going to be reused.
Sarah's sold the towel rail to a trendy London shop, and now she's back in Guilford to show Elizabeth what she's done to her husband's taps, and to hand over any profit.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi, Elizabeth, it's Sarah from The Tip. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you.
I just thought I'd update you about what happened with your taps.
Yes, right.
Were you wondering what we might do with them?
Well, I couldn't think of anything, actually. Just old taps to me.
Yeah, well, we had, it was actually something that I worked on. So I had a good look at them, and I was thinking about all sorts of things, maybe turn them into lighting or something like that.
Oh.
But in the end, I thought that it's probably better to keep them in the kind of water environment. So I turned them into a towel rail.
Oh, my goodness.
What do you think?
That's amazing, isn't it? Yes.
I know these were your late husband's.
Yes.
I hope he would approve. They've actually...
He would. He would.
So half the stuff has been made, we try and sell it, and they were actually sold for £75.
Goodness me.
What do you think about that? Do you think?
I can't believe it.
And from that £75, I've got £63 to give to you. So let me.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll send that to his charity.
Did he support a particular charity?
Well, we had two because he had dementia. He used to go to a day centre, so half of the money went there, and the rest went to a place called the Rainbow Centre, where my little grandson attends for disabled children.
Sarah's rustic take on a towel rail cost just £12. The item didn't hang around too long and was picked up for £75, giving Elizabeth a chance to spread some love with the £63 profit.
Thank you very, very much.
Absolute pleasure.
So, while Elizabeth heads off to spend the spoils from the towel rail, we're back in Margate, where Sarah's about to pop in on Rupert and finally find out what his super secret surprise is. When we left him, there were talks of rotisserie chicken barbecues and all sorts. Now Rupert's putting on the finishing touches. So hurry up, Sarah, and get in there. The wait is killing me.
I love it here at Rupert's place because I think, like me, he might be a bit of a hoarder. I can't wait, though, to see what he's done with our sewing machine table, because when I last left him, he was scratching his head and he hadn't got a single idea about what he's going to do with it. So, who knows?
Before, the old crumbling sewing machine was no use to anyone. Now it's a very cool, functional work table with a desk fan that is operated by the original foot pedal. Rupert, you're bonkers. Rupert used a very simple finish to the metal to maintain some of its history. A clear wax on the tabletop brings out the natural grain of the scavenged wood. But the secret surprise of the day is that fan. Rupert has rigged the original Victorian engineering to turn the blades with a push of your foot. It's a one of a kind.
Hiya. Welcome back.
How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, lovely. Hey, is that my sewing machine surprise?
So do you want to see it?
Yeah, go on then.
It's
Come on.
a sewing machine surprise because it doesn't actually have a sewing machine anymore.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I thought maybe a rotisserie chicken, maybe a giant pencil sharpener, lots of things that I spent a lot of this week failing at, and then I decided, on a hot day in the workshop, what better than a fan?
I absolutely love it. Let's see it in action.
Yeah, so there's a little hidden hole under here.
Okay.
And so now for the pedal, I'll get it going.
It's genius.
Well, it's, I just really wanted to use the action somehow. The sewing machine itself had completely seized up. There are some bits missing internally, like someone had already taken parts off of it. So I started looking at it and realised it's all about the bass. The bass is a real classic.
Yep, Rupert's bringing booty back with his big, beautiful bass. Go on, Sarah, give it a whirl. I don't know who's going to buy it, but it sure looks like a lot of fun. And all for only £200. Sarah might be laughing all the way to the bank. Back at the dump, Sarah was poring over Philip's ancient sewing machine.
I think it's been probably around for about 40, 50 years.
Sarah wanted to do something extraordinary with it,
The challenge will be to make something that's really amazing and quite different.
even if Philip didn't.
Hopefully, if she's a good girl, she'll learn to sew on it.
And after I don't know how many cups of tea, Rupert lived up to the challenge, and he certainly made something different. Sarah invited one of London's top retro furniture dealers in to see if it would be something that would sell in his shop, the old cinema.
It's good, it's interesting, it's really fun, isn't it? I love this. Does it work? Yes, it does.
He was blown away by its originality, but questioned who would buy such a thing.
It can't go to someone's home. I couldn't sell it. but I love it.
He took it anyway. Sarah's returned to Guilford to tell Philip that his sewing machine became a foot-powered fan and to hand over the profit.
Hello again.
We must stop meeting like this.
Well, it's much nicer here than the tip, isn't it?
It is, it is.
Now, I remember when I met you at the tip, you were clearing out lots and lots of stuff. You had a van full of it, didn't you?
Unfortunately, yes, this is true.
I thought there were all sorts of interesting things in there. And the piece that actually was really heavy, but I'm glad that we took, was your sewing machine and the table that went with it.
Do you know, I was so glad you took it as well. It was such a relief to have somebody help me off the van with that. And it's got nothing to do with age. I deny it entirely.
But we did take it to an amazing young designer called Rupert Blanchard, and he created the world's first table with a fan on it using the mechanism from your sewing machine.
Oh, that is brilliant. Actually, I was completely not expecting that. That is so funny. I mean, it was going to be thrown onto a dump and you saved it. Well done, you.
I'm delighted to say that somebody bought the rather useless, useful piece of equipment that Rupert managed to create. And a lovely round number. I've got £100 here to give to you for the fan table. So it's money for nothing for you to do with whatever you'd like to do with that.
I really don't know what to say, but I mean, I was about to throw the whole thing away, and to get this back, absolutely brilliant.
It was lovely to see you again, Philip, and I'll see you at the tip.
Rupert's labour and materials came to £200. It was sold for £300, giving Philip a profit of £100.
Well, that's another unusual transformation that I think got approval. I think it's fair to say that Philip is now a big fan.
Oh, Sarah, shame on you. Sarah's had success with Rupert's fan table, but it's time for our bathing blacksmiths to reveal what they've been up to. Bex and Dave are putting the finishing touches to their bright blue bath chair.
Just leave that dangling down the back.
Ah, little plug holes, isn't that nice?
Look at that!
Not bad. Quite pleased with that.
Well done, you two.
I have seen baths made into furniture before. I have a feeling what I'm about to look at has never been done before.
When Sarah brought it to them, it wasn't fit for any bathroom. But now, it's a bathing beauty. Bex and Dave have really outdone themselves with this piece of funky furniture. I didn't know they had it in them. The base of the chair has been welded, riveted and soldered to support the bath securely when sat on. They applied an undercoat primer to the enamel to ensure a smooth finish, and the bright blue paint harks back to its watery past. And to finish it all off, the plug hole features are just lovely.
It is amazing. It's really modern and really funky, isn't it?
We didn't want to keep the bath just the white bath colour. And, you know, I wanted to have that feeling of water. And
oh, look, I love the chain.
Sarah's even brought her own little cushion to give it her own test drive.
It's comfortable as well, isn't it?
Yeah. It makes you smile because it's got humour attached to it, but also in a very cool sort of way. So, because I keep feeling really chuffed with it.
How much to spend, I don't care.
Wow, that's the first time I've heard Sarah say that. And just as well, because Bex and Dave have gone slightly over budget with this one, racking up £400 worth of labour costs, plus about 80 quid's worth of paint. Sarah will be looking to slap a high price tag on this when it comes to be sold.
So just in case that wasn't clear, I absolutely love that chair. It might be over budget, but as far as I'm concerned, it's got bags of style and it should sell really well. It is an inspired piece of design.
That was a brilliant reaction. I mean, it is quite a striking piece. It's still got the bathy feel about it, but, you know, in a quite a cool way. It's good, yeah. Really pleased with the blue. The blue was a good choice, wasn't it? And the brown. The brown was a good choice too. Have another. Yeah.
Back at the dump,
I wonder if I'm going to be able to have that. Look at that.
Emma wanted shot of her old bath, trading it in for a new model.
It's actually cheaper to buy.
And a whole new one.
Sarah had grand plans for it,
I reckon if I made 2 armchairs.
and Emma agreed.
I'm thinking she's going to make some kind of weird 60s seats or something.
And that's kind of exactly what they became, kind of. Now Sarah's back in Surrey to show Emma what Bex and Dave have achieved.
Hi Emma, hi there, Sarah from the Tip.
Nice to see you.
And you, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well. I've just got some pictures to show you of what we did with your bath.
Oh, lovely.
We took it to Guilford to this fantastic artist blacksmith who's called Beck Simon.
Oh, wow.
And she and her husband have been doing some lovely things with this. And your bath has been turned into a somewhat glamorous, I would say,
Oh my gosh.
seat.
Oh my.
It has been completely sprayed blue, all the stuff that was, all the white bits of it,
lovely.
and they have made a lovely frame for it, and they kept some of the little quirky bits on it, like the chain and the plug and that kind of thing. What do you think?
I'm amazed, utterly amazed.
Normally at this point I'd like to say, I've sold your bath and I'm here to give you some money for nothing, but as of yet your bath hasn't sold. If it does, or when it does I should say, it would be great to be back in touch and I'll be handing over some money for nothing for you.
So, despite this wonderful transformation by Bex and Dave, the search continues to find this unique chair a new home. But with costs of $480 spent and no income generated, this could be a potential loss for Sarah of £480.
If they do make any money out of it, which would be absolutely lovely, I would like to give any profit to the RSPCA in Wormley for Donkeys and Horses Sanctuary. I think they're overrun with little ponies and donkeys that need some extra care, and a bit of cash would be lovely.
Well, Emma loved what we did with her old bath, which is always a relief. And now I've got to redouble my efforts to sell it because the money would be going to such a great cause.
So, Sarah's managed to save 3 unwanted items from the jaws of destruction.
3 fabulous transformations that have come so far since we left the Tip. The bath is now a stylish seat, the old sewing machine, a hip desk with extras, and the taps, they haven't left the bathroom, but they have got a whole new purpose. It just goes to show. Once again, with a little ingenuity, you can make some money for nothing.